It's a bit of a dreary day here in Swansboro. It's raining a whole bunch. But the really good thing is, it's raining! Because our water tanks are a little on the low side. We're about 80 gallons shy of full. So, we need to collect as much water as we can. We set up our rain collectors. I did something a little different. Since our deck isn't perfectly clean, I set up this guy like a coffee trap, or a coffee filter, so that water will still get drawn in, but if there's any dirt, it'll get caught in the paper towel and not go into the tank. The same over here, you can see it's like a little bowl at the bottom. So that's just to help keep it all clean and keep the mud out. With a rain like this, I don't expect to collect, a ton of water or fill up our tanks completely. But I hope to get at least a couple gallons, which is more than we had before and is a huge help for us. And tomorrow it's supposed to be a really heavy rain, so I'm really hoping that tomorrow we can collect a lot of rainwater. Since it's raining pretty well today, I'm going to fill up our shower system with some rainwater, and that way I can get a shower later on today and not be a stinky pirate hobo. It's been raining for a few hours now, which has given us a good amount of water. Now, it's just rain, it's nothing major, so we were going to pick up anchor and continue going. The issue is the current here is very, very strong. You gotta check this out. You can see all those leaves and debris and bubbles and stuff just rushing on by. We're not motoring, we're anchored. The current's just that strong, it's a couple knots through here. You can see the speed marker buoy. It's just bent over from the current, and then it's got a wake behind it. Like it's a fierce current rolling through here. I'm really glad we have a really strong anchor that's well set, because if we break free and drag, we got a very low bridge to contend with. So that would not be good.
Now Herbie's gonna take a shower. He's going to use the rainwater that we collected. We actually filled up our little shower jug with rainwater, and he's going to add in a tea kettle of hot water so that he actually gets a hot shower. Ever since we noticed that our hot water tank has a leak, this has been our way of heating up water for our showers. It actually works really well. It's just a little time consuming, but it's not as time consuming as waiting for the hot water heater to heat up with the generator running, so there's that. Pros and cons to everything. So once this is boiling and all heated up, we'll pour it back into the shower, which is a little insecticide jug thing, and we'll go ahead and shower with it. Today's Herbie's turn to take a shower, and he needs it. Ready for your hot shower?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you are. We're about to do something that I have never done before, which is get fuel. We need fuel for our generators so that we can continue motoring in the ICW whenever necessary. So the fuel dock is right over there, and actually it's over there. And we're gonna just dinghy on over. This is the town dock.
Go back to the boat.
did all the work.
So graceful.
Always.
The most graceful. There you go.
Thanks.
Today and right now, we must apologize to you guys. We are completely dishonoring sailing by motoring and not even putting up our sails and trying to sail. We're sorry. So our destination, well, alright, today the wind is blowing directly up the channel in the ICW. So there is zero way we could possibly sail this because it'd be tacking and the channel is only about 100 feet wide. So we can't do that. And having any sail up is just extra windage. So we chose to keep the sails down, crank the generator, and noisily motor straight on through. We did wait for the tide to be in our favor. And here we go at like 3 knots. Sorry guys. The reason we're doing this is because we just want to get more miles under our belt, because every day counts and every mile is a mile, even if we attain it via dishonorable methods such as motoring.
Number 3 is complete. And it's cozy.
We ran aground again, as always. So luckily we time when we decide to stop for the day, and we always stop at low tide. And that's when I venture off the channel, because I'm not going to anchor in the channel because that's illegal and stupid. So we always venture off the channel into what's charted to be 10 to 12 feet deep water, and then we run aground in there, and that's pretty much our life. It's really frustrating because it seems that every time we anchor, we're good getting into the anchorage, and then we drop the anchor, still okay, and then we start letting out the scope for the anchorage, and we're good to about 60 feet of scope. And then once we hit 80 feet, like right now we're at 80 again, that's when we hit. Like the boat just, you know, it's drifting sideways with the current because the scopes run out and not under tension, and the boat just smacks into the bottom with its keel. So every boat is different, and when you drop anchor and you let out a bunch of scope, the boat's gonna drift away from it. Our boat likes to drift sideways, so you can see the chain coming out from the front and just running off into the water as we are sitting here pretty much perpendicular to our anchor. An easy trick for calculating how much scope you need. So it's 7-to-1 scope is the ideal. So you take the depth of the water, and then you take the distance your sounder is from the water line, which in our case, it's calibrated for 6 feet. So it shows us the depth under our keel, which right now is 0. So you take 0, plus 6 feet for our keel, plus 5 feet of freeboard, which is from the water line up to the bow roller, and then you add to that high tide, like the tidal variance, which in our case right here is about 3 feet. So you got 6 plus 5 plus 3, so that's 11, 14 feet. So 14, then times 7, so that comes out to be 98 feet. So we're just gonna let out 100 feet of chain with the snubber. Raised anchor a little bit before slack water. And slack water is when there is no current. So in the ICW, you have inlets that feed in and then a waterway between them. So the water will come in and flood to the middle. And then when it drains out the same way. So that's actually how we navigated the Bensound. We went in on the incoming tide, crossed the midpoint, and then went out on the outgoing tide. So it worked out quite well. Now, right here where we are, ideally we'd wait for either slack water or the current to be in our direction, but ahead of us is actually a swing bridge that opens on the hour, sometimes on the half hour. And it's 12 feet tall unless it's open. So we definitely need to be there at time. It's about 6 miles away from us, and my concern was if we wait for slack water, by the time we get there, there's gonna be a current pushing us into it. That was absolutely beautiful. So what just happened was when a powerboat passes a sailboat, and I've only read about how to do it because I read all sorts of random things, even though I'm never in a powerboat. But the concept is you come at the sailboat full throttle, just coming up right behind them. And then when you're on his stern quarter, cut your throttle completely, go down to an idle. That makes your wake go completely flat, creep past him. Once you're past his bow, full throttle again. And they lose pretty much no time at all, and we suffer zero wake issues. So it's amazing. I've read about it, and then up in the Chesapeake, I just thought that, you know, no one did it or something along those lines, because everyone just, you know, full throttle by you and you're just rolling all over in the wake, and it was horrible. So I figured maybe this is a technique that exists, but no one does it and no one knows about it. And then we got in the ICW, and every large powerboat, that's how they pass you without fail. Like, you see them coming, just give them space, make it obvious which side you want them to pass you on. It would be nice if they do the little horn signal, and then you could respond with the horn signal. That way we know which way he's gonna pass, but we kind of make it obvious. And they just clip on by, and everyone continues a happy day. So it's really nice to see good seamanship on a daily basis. You can see the strength of the current we're going against. This is also that when we arrive at that swing bridge, the current won't push us in. I'm hoping that by the time we get there it'll be slack water and we'll just sit peacefully. Otherwise we're gonna have to sit there motoring against this current while we wait for it to open up. One thing that's quite a big factor when sailing the ICW are the bridges. So most of the bridges are 65-foot fixed bridge, but then there's a couple drawbridges here and there, and they open on a schedule, and if you're not there, you're not going through. So it opens on the hour and it's 10:37. So this way we just have to wait like 15 minutes or so, or 20, and then we can slip through the bridge. If you have a fear of going under bridges, I wouldn't recommend the ICW, but if you want to get over your fear of bridges, measure your mast, make sure you're not going to hit anything, and go to the ICW, because you will have so many bridges that you will have to get over your fear if you want to get anywhere.
That was pretty cool. Experience. Wouldn't have otherwise gotten outside the ICW. Well done, bridge man.
towboat are sailing along, coming up on Snade's Head Inlet, or Snade's Ferry, something. One of these inlets. And we're in the middle of the channel, where it's supposed to be like 12 some feet deep, and we hit fast and hard. So it's a really good thing we have a full keel and not a little fin keel, because I mean we hit and the boat rolled up over it and then stopped on something else after that. Yeah, the boat lurched. So towboat's on its way. This is third day and third grounding, or third day, and yeah, we've run aground every day in the ICW.
There's not much going on in the ICW, so I've taken this opportunity to just continue making my hats and listening to the podcast Moth, which is super good. I highly recommend it. It's like a bunch of people just telling stories without notes or prompts or anything. So it's really fun and cool, and I'm getting a lot done. Doing a lot of hatting.
We ran aground pretty hard. So we're heeled over a few degrees right now, and the tide's going out, so there's no chance that we're gonna get off this on our own. So, Towboat US! If you do the ICW, definitely get towing insurance, because it costs like, I don't know, I think it was like $180 for the year, and your first tow will be over $1,000, easy. So if you don't have insurance, you're gonna pay through the nose for it. Get insurance, then you don't have to worry as much. You can sail along when you bump the bottom, give them a call. It's a shame we can't keep them on speed dial or something. While we're aground, we made lunch. There's no better anchor than your keel.
Except an anchor in a place where you were meant to be.
Right now we're being towed, and we're trying to get off the bottom here. So you can see all the sand being kicked up. It's pretty shallow.
It took us a really long time to get towed off of there. I was down below, and I had, with all the rocking, I had thought that we were going miles and miles, and I was wondering, why were we getting towed so far? And then Herbie came down and told me that we weren't even off the bottom yet, so we were pretty worked in there. Lots of hard work by the tow guy.
Currently going downwind but up current. So we have our staysail flying with the self-tacker because we're on a dead run. I just made a huge mistake.
I'm doing another painting for a man named Jim.
Aren't we stylish?
We're going into the world.
Yes. And it's raining and cold.
Thanks so much for watching. And if you want to become a sailing buddy, you can click the link down below to our Patreon account.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And when you click subscribe, make sure you click on the little bell in the annotation. That way you get notifications as soon as our next video is uploaded.
Thanks so much.